Supply chain issues have many Americans expecting to deliver Christmas gifts late. So Anita Vogel and the Fox investigative unit spoke with a supply chain expert, lawmakers, and a small business owner about just what issues are driving the crisis.
People think if I can't get a product, it must be a supply chain problem.
Michael Farlikas may be more immersed in the world of global supply chains than anyone. His company, E2Open, allows clients to streamline supply chain logistics from start to finish.
They don't really understand what goes into making that product or that good.
Farlikas sees the supply chain as more of a supply network.
But if any one part of the network has a problem, it affects the entire network.
That complexity is partially how the U.S. wound up with lines of cargo ships stretching for miles at our ports. He says one of the products most affected by the crisis is the laptop, which has dozens of separate components, each with a smaller supply chain of its own, that depend on overseas partners who are dealing with their own overcrowded ports. So a laptop computer has a supply chain spanning the entire globe before a finished product ever reaches consumers. One of the components that's become hardest to find, aside from the chips that make a computer work, are computer screens themselves.
20 to 30% of my repairs are screens, which is LCD panels.
Arthur Zilberman owns LaptopMD, a computer repair shop in New York City. He's managed to stay in business despite the challenges of the pandemic and the fact that those screens are almost exclusively manufactured in Asia.
I pay 10 times more for the shipping than I pay for the component itself. I have to buy parts in China. Small people like me cannot hang on any longer.
The problem has lawmakers looking at ways to boost domestic production, something they were already working on during the pandemic.
We cannot find ourselves in the same position we were in a year ago and today ever again. Protective equipment in a virus, we should be able to have that here and be able to make that here.
The COVID pandemic was a wake-up call that not only tested our supply chains, but showed us that it is just not responsible to be overly dependent on China for stuff that is critical to our economic and national security.
Farlikas says there may be a silver lining to all of this if we learn from the crisis.
My focus would be on how do you make the system stronger, more resilient, more agile overall.
Anita Vogel reporting that. Anita, many thanks.